Now, Colin, can you tell us how old you are?
I am 10 years old.
And why do you support President Trump?
Because he protects us, he protects America, and he was making a border for the U.S. and Mexico to separate us so nothing bad happens. As in, like right now, as people are hurting the USA from Mexico, and if it was under Trump and Trump was president, it would never happen, and all the wars wouldn't happen. Like Ukraine.
And what's worth more under President Trump? Hold that up.
Turn it around, babe. Show the camera.
The dollar was worth.
The dollar is worth more under President Trump.
Open it up. Yes.
Parents teach their kids nearly everything that shapes their original worldview, including their political stances. But the depressing part of that interview is that this kid had all these conclusive beliefs about other people strictly based off of the things that Trump scared his parents into believing. It just seems unfair to a kid to teach him that he should be afraid of Mexicans and that an American ideal is to exalt a politician above the country itself. So while he's probably been taught that Trump should replace everyone on the American currency like a dictator might do, he doesn't have the capacity to know or care that the people he's told to like regularly work against his family's interests.
But what's troubling about the slow jobless rate is the rapid rate of wage inflation. That's now running at 4.5%. Chances are, if the economy continues to grow at a rate of roughly 2% or faster, we are going to see a further tightening of the labor market, and with that, even faster wage growth, and that's going to be bad news for inflation, especially consumer services price inflation. If we want to get inflation under control, we've got to get wage growth down to something close to 3%. Unless I see a substantial slowing of the U.S. economy, a marked deceleration of spending, unless I see a rise in unemployment, the unemployment rate above 4%, and unless I see jobs growth coming in at fewer than 125,000 jobs per month, no, there will not be a rate cut in 2024.
Well, if there's not a rate cut in 2024, isn't it likely that we see a stock market sell-off? I mean, isn't that largely the reason that we're seeing so much euphoria around stocks?
That's precisely right, Maria. If we don't get this rate cut, there's going to be a lot of disappointment on the equity side.
Fox News invites rich guys like John Lonsky on to tell MAGA that they should blame themselves for inflation because they got a $1 raise 3 years ago. So instead of celebrating job growth, the folks hoarding people's hard-earned money are on a mission to convince regular folks that they don't deserve opportunity or upward mobility. The only key to success, according to that 10-year-old's parents, somehow is to worship Donald Trump. I wonder who told them that.
By the way, you know, the stock market's gone up. There are big professionals, some of the people I know, the biggest, smartest guys on Wall Street. You know why it's going up? Because they think I'm going to win the election. And if we don't win the election, you're going to see what happens. You'll end up in 1929.
Forget the promises to consolidate power to the executive, his declarations that he's above our criminal justice system, or his incredible fealty to dictatorial foreign leaders. Without any factual basis, he simply says that the stock market's going up because of him, not being in office, but just trying to get back into power to avoid prosecution. It made Fox's Neil Cavuto actually hit him with an MSNBC-style fact check on several of his lies.
Continue monitoring the president's remarks, and I mean no offense to him, or some of you might want to continue hearing, but I did have to say that even though the former president is entitled to his opinions, he's not entitled to his own set of facts. The market has indeed been going up, but having nothing to do with him and everything to do with this aggressive cut in interest rates, or just a hiking in interest rates and stabilized inflation, and of course the whole artificial intelligence phenomenon that has benefited NVIDIA and a host of companies that are making money hand over fist. So that, whether you want to give Biden credit for that, has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Furthermore, he mentioned about gas prices out of whack, $6 a gallon. The national average right now is $3.26 cents a gallon. He went on to talk about the 2020 election and how that was rigged. This has been adjudicated many, many times, dozens of times. It's been investigated by everyone and his uncle. No fewer than 44 investigations launched, some of them by judges that were picked by Donald Trump himself, that found no evidence of that in the 7 battleground states where most of them were focused. Donald Trump lost each and every one of those states.
It's looking like Cavuto is heading in the same direction as former Fox host Chris Wallace, who departed the network after after revealing more than one rebuttal to Trump's lifetime of lies. Now, there is a reason that Fox viewers are being told that employees getting a raise are a stain on the country, because they can no longer claim the economy is a disaster. So they have to make the turnaround a problem.
To give President Biden some credit, he's done remarkable progress on the economy. The economy is objectively doing better on most macro measures, the stock market, unemployment. But for a lot of Americans, grocery prices, that is what is impacting them most directly. And it's why people don't actually feel like the economy is as good as it's performing.
Purposefully eliminating things from the complicated set of factors that determine a healthy economy is the easiest way to preach a grim outlook for a political advantage. It's a standard strategy for this Republican Party because it's easier to scare people without full context. Just assumptions and conclusions with nothing factual to back it up.
In fact, when I took over in 2016, we had a problem with the border, pretty big problem, but it was nothing compared to what it is now. And I fixed the problem, and it wasn't even a topic of discussion in the race, in the 2020 race. I kept wanting to talk about it. I wanted to brag about the great job we did, right? But everyone said nobody cares because you fixed it.
We're still light on details or even how he determined that he fixed the problem. Just more of the same exaggerated bluster and hyperbole that predictably goes back to the same theme that the young MAGA supporter and his parents were told to believe, that under Trump, it'll never happen. It's not surprising that the reality about immigration during Trump's term doesn't really match up with his declaration that even by conservatives' blanketly aggressive approach, that he didn't fix it. But it's definitely something catchy to run a fear-based campaign on.
We had that opportunity. We had a bipartisan bill to fix the border, a very strong bill. The only reason we didn't pass it is that the former President Trump wanted this to be a campaign issue rather than allowing us to get a major bill done, giving the resources to the people at the border to protect our border. Congress has the responsibility to act.
These guys don't even deny that he's playing politics with the very issue that he's scaring his supporters on, because he successfully garnered blind support for himself personally, not based on the policies that he claims to care about. All that's left is to trust and worship him in whatever he says and does, which a Fox News guest summarized pretty accurately, which also irritated the hell out of Harris Faulkner and Tammy Bruce.
I will say this, I would rather have a president who maybe has a stutter once in a while than one who spews conspiracy theory, racist nonsense, and has dinner with Nazis. So if given the choice between one or the other, I'm happy that Joe Biden might misspeak once in a while when he's trying to name a president of a foreign country.
Well, nobody has ever picked on him for his speech impediment. I mean, I have relatives who stutter. That's not the issue. It's the acuity issue. Real quickly, Tammy.
Well, we just heard him call a number of Republicans Nazis and racist, so I think we can put him in the category of willing to go there.
I didn't call Republicans. Hold on. I didn't call Republicans Nazis.
That is a tactic that is not going to work.
He had dinner with a Nazi.
And they are taking it personally. Look at these numbers. It's not going to work.
Exactly what I said.
Okay, we're going to have to let you both go.
He had dinner with a Nazi.
I had even said I had never heard you talk like that. And look, 5 seconds later, I was wrong.
Desperation.
Sadly.